Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Eagles Latest on Fan Arch. I am your host, Blake McQueary. As always, we have Eagles content to talk about. Howie Roseman is always in the office. He's always working. That is why we always have things to talk about. That's why I love Howie Roseman. That's why you guys love Howie Roseman. That's why we all love Howie Roseman and we all love the Philadelphia Eagles. So without further ado, let's get right to Tank Bigsby. Eagles acquire running back Tank Bigsby from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They acquired Bigsby in exchange for a 2026 fifth round pick and a 2026 sixth round pick. I've talked about the amount of picks that Howie is holding in his pocket, specifically 2026 picks. He has a lot of them, and he is not afraid to get rid of them, as we can see right here, acquiring Tank Bigsby from the Jaguars. Bigsby was a 2023 third-round pick from for Jacksonville, the number 88th overall out of Auburn. He's 5'11", weighs about 215 pounds. He has rushed for a total of 910 yards and 9 touchdowns over 34 games with the Jaguars. Bigsby, the last name, it says it for itself. Bigsby is a tank. He is a tank. He is big. He had last year about almost 800 rushing yards, I think 800 total yards and 7 touchdowns. After his season last year, people actually predicted that he would overtake Travis Etienne Jr. as running back number 1. I had Travis Etienne Jr. in my fantasy last year, and it didn't work out well for me because of Tank Bigsby. That's how big of an impact he made in Jacksonville last year. Some people speculating this isn't some depth trade. He can be a help in the running game. He absolutely can be. We obviously know Will Shipley, his injury. He left the game against Dallas with a rib injury and he did not return. His status as of right now is still uncertain. Now, it's being reported from insiders this is not a running back room move. They are not acquiring Tank Bigsby because they want another running back, because they want depth at running back. That makes sense. They like Bigsby's effectiveness as a kickoff returner. That is a role that they have been exploring. Shipley obviously served as running back 2 and, of course, as a kickoff returner. With his status uncertain with that rib injury, that is what this does. It gives them a reliable kickoff returner in Tank Bigsby, a guy who has shown flashes that he can be really good as a kickoff returner, with kickoff returns shaping up as a far bigger part of the game with the rule change. The Eagles view Bigsby as a potential difference maker there. Michael Clay said on Tuesday that Bigsby has stood out on tape over the past couple years as a kickoff returner. Now, as far like I haven't watched too much tape from Bigsby as a kickoff returner. I've watched a few things. I watched his kickoff return actually last season against the Eagles. He can absolutely be a very good kickoff returner. 100%. He has the speed. He has the elusiveness. He has the physicality. He is a physical runner. Now, in terms of kickoff returning, though, and being physical, I don't really love it too much. I love the guys who are speedsters, who are elusive, who can see the field, who have great ball carrier vision. Bigsby is more of a physical back. He is more of a I'm going to run through your face back. He is not scared of contact. He absolutely loves contact. Go and watch Tank Bigsby tape. You can see he loves to run through somebody's face. Absolutely. I mean, you love watching that as a running back. It's just, in terms of kickoff returning, it's not the best. You want to avoid contact at all costs on a kickoff return. When you are returning kicks, returning punts, things like that, you want to avoid contact. You don't want to be touched. It's different from running the football out of the backfield. It is. It's very different. In terms of the acquisition, do I love it? The picks given away to me could have been used for a cornerback number 2. I have been talking about it numerous episodes, going and either trading for a corner or signing a corner. I talked about it last episode, though. I did lean more towards loving the going and signing for a cornerback. You don't have to give up anything. That is the pros and cons, the compare and contrasts of this accusation getting Bigsby. Kickoff returner, that's cool. But there are other needs that need to be tended to. Cornerback. Everybody knows it. I've been saying it for very long. Now, maybe they are confident in going and signing a free agent for corner, or they really do believe in Jacorian Bennett. We will talk about that in a little bit. But once he is comfortable with the playbook, of course, and the scheme, everything like that. Because I think that's what's been his drawback right now, is still learning Fangio's scheme, still learning his system, still learning the playbook. Maybe that's why they use these picks, because these are a 2026 fifth-round pick and a 2026 sixth-round pick. Those are exactly the picks that I would assume you would use to go and trade for not a star corner, but a cornerback number 2. And they used them to go get Tank Bigsby. I do overall love the addition of Bigsby, though, whether we are talking about kickoff returner or we are talking about the run game. I mean, just adding to the run game is when you get a guy like Bigsby, that just makes you more dominant. Obviously, they're going to use him more as a kickoff returner than running back, but you never know. It makes you more dominant. The type of player he is, the caliber that he has, the potential that he has, it just makes everything easier for them. It makes them more dominant. So that is my thoughts on getting Bigsby. We are going to transition over to the pass rush on defense. Pass rush wasn't the best against Dallas. You know that. You've seen it. If you haven't, go and watch the tape. It wasn't the best. I thought it was good. I give it a C-. It can be so much better with what they have, with what Fangio schemes, with who he is as a defensive coordinator. It can be so much better. And then, obviously, didn't have Jaylen Carter. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But it needs to be better against the Chiefs. It absolutely has to be better against the Chiefs. One, that is how you stop Patrick Mahomes. Plain and simple. It's how you do it. If you watch the Super Bowl, which obviously I know all of you did, that is how the Eagles won that game, was their pass rush. How dominant it was. Now, Fangio's game plan in Super Bowl LIX. 4-man rush, the rest in coverage, don't blitz. It's simple. It's very simple. I'm going to read the stats. Across 42 dropbacks in that Super Bowl, the Eagles did not blitz once. It's the 4th defense to not blitz in a game, according to Next Gen Stats, which has been tracking data since 2014. The Eagles generated 16 pressures. So they had a 4-man rush, the rest were in coverage, and they didn't blitz, and they generated 16 pressures. They pressured Mahomes all game long with just a 4-man rush, and that made him uncomfortable because of the pressure that they were able to generate on just a 4-man rush. That is why I say the pass rush has to be effective against the Chiefs. It has to be better than what it was against Dallas. It has to be. Now, I'm not saying it has to be up to par with what they did in the Super Bowl, because that was very rare. That was rare. That was just perfection. At every single level was perfection. It's exactly what Tampa Bay did to Patrick Mahomes in 2021, if you guys remember that Super Bowl. That's the recipe to stop Mahomes. It is. It absolutely is. You got to have the right guys, though. And it makes it, and I say that because it makes it so much easier when you have good linebackers that you can trust. Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell, what we've seen from him, the rookie. He's going to be a star. I talked about it last episode. Go check it out. Best linebacker. They have the best linebacker duo in the NFL right now. They have the best linebacker duo in the NFL. It's not. There's no debate. It's not even up for question. So when you have good linebackers you can trust, that makes that game plan so much more easier to do. 4-man rush, rise and coverage, zone blitz. Now, Jaylen Carter's fate, very, very important. The NFL has still not announced his consequences. I thought it would have happened by now. It's Tuesday. I'm shocked that they haven't announced it by now. I'm shocked that they haven't came out and said, given him something. I am. Because they haven't announced anything, does that mean something? I don't know. I don't love it that they haven't announced anything yet. Do I think that could maybe move more towards Jaylen Carter being suspended? It possibly could. It possibly could. But on the other hand, it's Tuesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. This is obviously going to come out on Wednesday. But it's obviously, on the other hand, I mean, if they were going to suspend him by now, wouldn't they have done it? Wouldn't they have came out with it? Yes, but, you got both ways there. So I don't know if it means anything. Even if he isn't suspended by the NFL, he could face in-house disciplinary action. Now, Nick Sirianni didn't announce whether that would be the case or not, but he didn't rule that out. So that's that. Fangio said on Tuesday when talking about Jaylen Carter and his leadership, he said, quote, well, to be considered a leader, actions speak louder than words, and he's got to speak with his actions. So, clearly, yes, the coaches are pissed at Jaylen Carter, as they should be. Fangio is pissed at Jaylen Carter, as he should be, because he had to change his whole game plan around after what he did on Thursday night. But that is why having Jaylen Carter against the Kansas City Chiefs is so important, because do I expect the Eagles to emulate what they did in the Super Bowl against Mahomes? Yes. Could Fangio maybe switch it up? Yes, because obviously Kansas City might see that coming. But I think if you have Jaylen Carter there, whether they see it coming or not, you do it, because that's just who he is. That is how important he is. That is how talented he is. That is how good of a defense player he is. So, that's that. Pass rush has to be better. Moving on to Adoree Jackson. I know you guys are tired of hearing about Adoree Jackson. I'm, quite frankly, a little bit tired of talking about him, but we have more news. Because as of right now, the Eagles will be starting Adoree Jackson against the Chiefs. Yes, I know. You're probably banging your fist on your desk right now, whatever the case may be. I don't love the decision, but I have a theory here. So hear me out. Why do I say this? If you didn't read or you didn't hear, Vic Fangio was asked on Tuesday if he would be starting Adoree Jackson. Fangio said, quote, right now, yes. Stupid decision, I know. I'm with you. I mean, there's no other opinion out there in the world unless you're a madman that it's a dumb decision, obviously. If you haven't heard the stats from the Cowboys game, I'll read them again. I did it in the last episode, so you can go check that out. I'll read them again, though. Gladly will. Adoree Jackson in coverage. 7 targets, 5 receptions allowed, 103 receiving yards allowed, a 20.6 yards per catch allowed, 5 first downs allowed, 1 pass breakup, a 33.6 PFF grade. I think the funniest thing about all of that was post-game, Adoree Jackson was asked about his performance, and he gave himself a C grade. Buddy. A 33.6 PFF grade is failing. C's C's don't fail. Trust me, I know. C's don't fail. I've earned a couple of those in school. C's do not fail. A 33.6 is failing by far. Now, here's my theory. The Eagles aren't going to say who they are starting. Now, I know like this is a cornerback decision. This isn't the quarterback. It doesn't make a huge difference whether they're going to announce it or not, but still, you're not going to say who you're starting right now. That right now in was key in Fangio's quote. Him saying right now, that was very key. Very key. Like I said, it doesn't make it a huge difference because it's corner. Like it's not a what like you announcing who you're starting at corner. It doesn't do a lot. It's not like you're announcing who's starting at quarter. Like I'm comparing this to when teams don't know exactly who they're starting at quarterback for like season openers, things like that. We see that a lot, and they don't announce it till the day of the game, or you don't figure it out until who trots out on the first drive. It's not a difference maker like that, but I think saying that Jackson is starting does impact the Chiefs' game planning. Nobody knows if Carter is playing right now. So until stated that he won't be out there, you have to game plan for him. And when you game plan for him, it is a whole different defense. That is the difference he makes. As bad as Jackson was on Thursday night, saying he will start gives the Chiefs confidence to game plan a pass-heavy offensive plan. It does. It absolutely does. I would be sitting there happy, so happy if I was Matt Nagy. Like, oh my gosh, they're starting Adoree Jackson. Did you see what he did against Dallas? Oh, we're going to attack him all game long. That gives them the confidence to do that. On the other hand, also, it's only Tuesday. There's a lot of days left for minds to be changed. They haven't even practiced yet. When this video comes out on Wednesday, that is the first day that the Eagles start practice for the week for the Chiefs. They haven't practiced yet. They could put Bennett, run him with the first team, and he could do absolutely tremendous. He could lock down A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, whoever the case may be, and minds are changed. So that's what I think it does. I wouldn't panic right now. Him saying right now is a very, like, I want you guys to focus on that part of the quote, the right now, because that's important. It's very key. It is. So that's that. We're going to move on to a fun segment. I seen this floating around on social media. I think it was last night I seen it, and I loved it. And I just think it's a fun little segment to end on. It gives you something to think about as an Eagles super fan. Former legend. Which former Eagles legend would you pick to be on the team right now? I know my answer. I want you guys to think about yours. Actually, comment your answer in the comments below, who you would pick. Right now, with the Eagles team that we have, the personnel that we know, the depth chart that we know of right now, my pick is 100% Weapon X, Brian Dawkins. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely not. I don't know how you don't pick him. 4-time first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl, NFL 2000s All-Decade team, Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame, Philadelphia Eagles 75th anniversary team, the number 20 retired in the rafters. I mean, jeez. 1,147 total tackles, 26 sacks, 36 forced fumbles, 19 fumble recoveries, 153 passes defended, 37 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. That's who he is. Oh, yeah, by the way, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Weapon X. What was that quote? Takeo Spikes said, I'm gonna make them question if they love football today. Something like that. Something along the lines of that. He was insane. Absolutely insane. Could you imagine that lineup? That's why I say Weapon X. Could you imagine that? That gives you the confidence. You don't have a cornerback number 2 right now. That gives you Weapon X in this lineup gives you the confidence to put Cooper DeJean on the outside at corner. Problems are solved. Problems are solved. Problems are solved. A fan favorite I seen was Reggie White. I'm not mad at that one. Absolutely not mad at that one. That would be a great one. Absolutely. I mean, 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time First Team All-Pro, 5-time Second Team All-Pro, 13-time Pro Bowl, 2-time NFL sacks leader. He was in the 80s All-Decade Team, the 90s All-Decade Team. He's in the NFL's 75th Anniversary All-Time Team, NFL's 100th Anniversary All-Time Team, Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame, Philadelphia Eagles 75th Anniversary Team. That number 92 is retired by the Eagles, too. That number 92 is retired by the Packers, too. I mean, geez, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Reggie White would be a good one, but I just think with what you know, you got to go Brian Dawkins, Weapon X. It's good to think about. I love the thoughts. I mean, this defense would be absolutely nasty with Brian Dawkins in it. Put him at nickel, put him at safety, move Cooper DeJean to the outside. I don't know if anyone would score a point. I don't know if anyone would score a point. As long as Jaylen Carter ain't spinning on nobody, I don't think anyone's scoring a point on that defense. So yeah, that's fun to think about. As always, like I said, comment your thoughts. Comment who you would have, what former Eagle you would pick. I just want to see. I want to see everybody's pick. But yeah, that's all the time we have for today. As always, stay up to date with Eagles latest on Fan Arch. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.